What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back to another afternoon in the BrewLab. It's me, Lone Fox, your brewmaster in chief. And this afternoon in the BrewLab, I am coming at ya with, as promised, Jean-Emmanuel Depraz Temur Treasures deck that he submitted for the World Championship event coming up in just some hours tomorrow. Really on the edge of my seat to watch this tournament. It's going to be so much fun. But yeah, as I said yesterday, for those of you who did not catch that video, I was going to be playing Jean-Emmanuel Depraz Temur Treasures list, and here it is in all its glory. It's basically a Gruul deck that just happens to splash a bit of blue for some counter spells. I mean, the only blue cards in the entire list are 2 Disdainful Strokes and 2 Negates, which are clearly in there for the Alrune's Epiphany. Perhaps some removal that the opponent might have. Other than that, I think the main target for these counter spells, they're just there for the Alrune's Epiphany. So, you know, hold on to them. Play them sparingly. There's only 4 counters in the whole deck. It'll be interesting, once again, as usual, to see when it is that they sideboard in things and sideboard out things and against which matchup. But before I talk about the sideboard, which is very interesting, let's have a look at the main deck. So it seems to be your typical Gruul thing here, with just the addition of a couple of nice new cards in the form of Reckless Stormseeker from Midnight Hunt. What a house. Just the ability to give your creatures haste when they arrive onto the battlefield, and trample if it's nighttime is just phenomenal, on top of the +2/+0, which is, you know, nothing to be scoffed at. And also the Moonveil Regent as a, you know, way of drawing cards can be pretty cool. Like the side of this that says when it dies you deal X damage, that's not really very important in this deck, because at most you can do 2 damage, although, you know, that might be irrelevant. You can do it to any target, so you might just be able to go face for that last little bit of damage that you need. But there are only red and blue permanents in the whole deck, so at the most, I beg your pardon, red and green. So at the most, you'll be doing 2 damage to the opponent when the Regent dies. But I think it's really in here for that point in the game when your hand is empty, and then whenever you cast something, you can discard your card, your hand, but you don't have a hand to discard, and then you just draw a card. And you know, if you the only card that'll allow you to cast more than 2, to draw more than 2 in the whole list is Kessig Naturalist, which is the only dual colored card in the whole list. So if you discard a Kessig Naturalist, say you cast Esika's Chariot and the Moonveil Regent is already in play, you cast Esika's Chariot, that'll trigger the Moonveil Regent's ability. So you discard your Kessig Naturalist, which is a dual colored card, and you can draw 2 cards, which is really nice at that point in the game when you might not want the Kessig, or, you know, even if it's something else, you've got another Jaspera that you're not too interested in, or even a land, you know, that still counts as a color. You discard that and draw something new. So it's I think in a list like this that has no other way of getting new cards in hand, it's pretty essential. On top of it being a 4/4 flyer for 4 mana, which is, you know, at a baseline value, pretty good in and of itself. And you can also give it haste the turn it comes into play with your Reckless Stormseeker. So pretty cool there. So, again, before I dive into the sideboard, let's quickly have a look at this list. It seems to be your typical Gruul thing, like I've said already. You know, Jaspera Sentinel Magda combo. Get ridiculous amount of treasures, turn 2/3. You know, get Goldspan Dragon out on turn 3, turn 4, potentially, if you... Okay, let me remember if I got this right. So basically, Jaspera first turn, Magda turn 2. During your opponent's end step, you tap the Magda with the Jaspera, create a treasure, untap, play an Innkeeper. On turn 3, makes a treasure. Then you can, so now you've got 2 treasures in play. You can tap the Magda with Jaspera, create let's say, red with the Jaspera, and then that'll have you'll have 1 mana left open after casting the Prosperous Innkeeper. You've got 3 treasures now, plus a floating mana in your pool that you created from the Jaspera. So that is a turn 3 Goldspan Dragon. And then you start doing some damage pretty seriously at that point. It's very aggressive. So yeah, that's the type of play line that you're looking to doing with the treasures package that you've got in Gruul. Jaspera, Magda, Prosperous Innkeeper. Don't forget, Ranger class also creates a token which you can tap to Jaspera. Lots of little things like that. I'm not entirely sure why the 4 Esikas. I guess it is a really good card in a vacuum, but there isn't even in the sideboard, a copy of the Ren and 7. So it's definitely trying to go a little bit more aggro. I guess the tokens that Esika can copy are the Ranger class tokens, are the treasure tokens, are its own cat tokens, and perhaps also down here there's a couple of Briarbridge Trackers, so you can copy the clue token. It'll be interesting to see where this goes, on the big stage, with the creator of the deck piloting it. I'm really excited to watch this and see how it fares against the, turns decks and that. I've just come out of a couple of games. I haven't played it too much. I like to kind of go in blind for these videos and play them on the best 3 and hopefully, like I've said before, bump into some of the top decks from the event. Hopefully during this video, I'll end up playing at least one Is It Turns deck. I'll end up playing at least one Grixis Turns deck, or at least one mono white or mono green. And that'll really give us an idea of like what Jean-Emmanuel Depraz sideboard strategy is to combat those matchups and get inside the mind of the pros. All right, so we've talked about the little rampy package. You've also got Negate as a way of countering things. Very little removal. There's just 3 copies of Dragonfire and 4 copies of Shatterskull Smashing. That's it. Of course, the smashing gets really good when you have lots of treasures, because you can do a really big smashing. So that's all he's going for. Although he's clearly... Okay, so let me finish the main deck, then we can talk about the sideboard in a second. Then there's 2 copies of Reckless Stormseeker in the main deck, 3 copies Moonveil Regent, 4 copies Esika's Chariot, and 4 Goldspan Dragons. And then he's just running 2 Hydras, 2 Bugbears. No Field of Ruins. Again, no Field of Ruin. It's interesting. Like, I've been making sure to put at least 2 in every single one of my lists, because of all the manlands. But I guess they just think it's not as necessary and it's too risky to end up having a colorless tap, a colorless land at the wrong moment in the game could lose it for you. So he's going for the full playset of pathways of each of the colors from the deck, 4, 4, and 4, and then just no islands. Clearly, I mean, he's only just splashing a bit of blue for a couple of spells here that only have 1 blue pip in their mana value. So I can see why there's no islands. There's plenty of blue sources here in the Riverglide Pathway and the Barkchannel Pathway. It's more than enough. And then, 5 forests, 1 mountain. So definitely, like, I guess I would have probably just put in 1 extra mountain. There is, Goldspan Dragon in there with 2 red pips. There is Shatterskull Smashing with 2 red pips. But again, I'm not one to question, people that are in the top 16 players on the planet right now. From my measly platinum level 2 position or whatever. But yeah, that's the deck. So now let's talk about the sideboard briefly. He's clearly running Burning Hands for the mono green matchup. This is the card from AFR. They did a whole cycle of these where it's hating on a specific color. So it does 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker for 2 at an instant speed, which is pretty rubbish. That's why Dragon's Fire is just the all-around better card, because it does 3 at the baseline. But if you're playing against mono green, suddenly it deals 6 damage instead, which can easily handle, and it's creature or planeswalker. You can instant speed get rid of a Ren and 7. You can instant speed get rid of the Tree Folk token that Ren and 7, you know, it's often a 6/6 by the time they play it. You know, so that it's I think having 4 of these in the sideboard against the green matchup is probably a pretty good idea. I just think maybe a full playset might have been a little too much. I might have gone with 3 myself to allow space for maybe something else in the deck. I might have even run the 6-mana dragon, just one of the star mounts guy. In the, you know, counterspell heavy matchup, the ability to have an uncounterable 6/6 flyer might have been a good idea. But once again, who am I to question these guys? They're geniuses at their craft. But 4 of these would be completely useless in the Is It Turns matchup. So they'll just end up staying on the sideboard. It'll be interesting to see, once again, what he does with it and when. Then there's 3 copies of Tangletrap. I don't know why he went with Tangletrap. I guess it's cheaper to cast. I would have gone with Broken Wings. 4 enchantments. I guess there's not really any enchantments that you need to worry too much about. There's Ranger class in mono green. I think that's it. I don't think there's anyone running the Paladin class in the mono white aggro lists. And there's no enchantments whatsoever in Is It Turns or Grixis Turns. So maybe that's why he would rather just have the Destroy Artifact for 2 mana to get rid of the Esika's Chariots, and then the 5 damage to target creature with flying for the opponent's Goldspan Dragons. That is my thinking behind this card, but personally I might have gone with the slightly more expensive but more versatile Broken Wings. Interesting choice. I like it. Let's see what happens. But definitely, yeah, sideboard these in if you're going up against flyers, and if you know the opponent's going to have Esika, that's his only way of getting rid of artifacts in the deck. There's 3 copies in the sideboard. Then 2 copies of Disdainful Stroke. I guess against Is It Turns, he's going to bring in the full 4. 2 negates, 2 Disdainful Strokes, to really make sure that the opponent does not cast Alrund's Epiphany, as well as the Iteration, as well as all the thousands of spells that deck runs. Probably Disdainful Stroke just for the higher costed ones. Even a Deluge can get hit by Disdainful Stroke, and then saving the negates for Alrund's Epiphany. And then 2 Kessig Naturalists. Interesting. Can pump up the Wolf from the Ranger class. Can pump up the Wolf in the form of Reckless Stormseeker, which there are another 2 of in the sideboard. So I have a feeling there's a specific strategy here that he's preparing for, where he'll put out like perhaps Esika's Chariot and maybe a few of the Regents, and just bring in all the Werewolf package and try and go more aggressive and low to the ground against maybe mono white and green. That'll again be very, very interesting and cool to see when he decides to bring the additional werewolf kind of tribal stuff into the deck. And then last but not least, this new sort of glue card, turn 3, little, you know, get us to turn 4 with a nice body that can also potentially draw us cards. And like I've already mentioned in the earlier part of this deck tech, the Esika's Chariot can copy the clue tokens, so that is another little bit of a way of drawing cards that he has in the deck, aside from the aforementioned Moonveil Regent. So that's the deck. Jean-Emmanuel Depraz, Temur Treasures. Let's take it onto the ladder and see how it performs. Alright, now as usual, everybody knows this by now, who's already a subscriber. But for those of you who are not, when I'm queuing up into my first game of the day, I always like to do the self-promotion part of this video. If you could all consider subscribing to the channel, it would make me a very, very happy lone fox. There is a giveaway that will be triggered at 200 subscribers. I have just recently hit 187. Thank you all so much for the outpouring of support. I'm really glad you're all liking these World Champ decklist videos. It's clearly, you know, being liked by my viewers. So thank you. And if you would like to take part in said giveaway, just scroll down in this video's description, past the deck list and everything. You'll find a little link there that says video giveaway video information. Click on that. It's a 5-minute watch. By the time you've finished watching that, you will know everything that there is to know about the giveaway, and you can take part. That's it. And of course, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You know, I've already said like, comment, and hit the bell icon if you would like to be notified of future daily uploads. Alrighty. Game 1. Oh, duress. Straight up. Booyah. That is a problem. Well, I mean, I wonder if it's okay. So it's a matchup that no one is going to have to face at Worlds, because there is not a single copy of there's not a single Dimir control list in the whole in the whole tournament. So it'll be interesting to see how this deck stacks up. Sorry, I just had my father-in-law popping in to say that lunch is almost ready. Alright, opponent is thinking about doing some fading of hopes. Pretty annoying. I think this is going to be a terrible matchup for this deck. Ooh, okay, so it's Grixis. It's Grixis. Grixis. Terrible. Plenty of removal. Here we go. This is probably Yellow Hats. Yeah. This looks like Grixis Epiphany to me, which is good. This is what we wanted. This is what we wanted to see. I want to test the decks from the World Champs against other decks from the World Champs. And it looks like this diamond player here that I'm facing is doing pretty much what I've done and net decked the crap out of. They are running one copy of the command, Prismari command, which can take care of our Chariot, but we do have 3 of them. Top decked another one there the last turn. Cinderclad, huh? That's okay. That is absolutely okay. So I can just do this. Make sure to keep the non-summoning sickness one, so we can attack. We might have another fade. Can you imagine, man? The level of bullshit that we have. The control is getting. Now that's gonna be a sword coming, most probably. Disdainful Stroke. Now that's okay. Now I mean, if it is the list from Worlds, there is no sword coming, so that's gonna be the Epiphany, in my opinion. It could be the 4 damage. Nice. What are we sideboarding in here? Deluge? End turn Deluge? I think we're going to have to bring in some of these Disdainful Strokes of our own. And maybe some of the werewolf stuff and try and get a little bigger. Because he's got Cinderclasms, he's got, you know, things that can get rid of 2/2s very quickly. Here comes the Epiphany. Cannot wait for the Banhammer. As far as I'm concerned, it's definitely coming. We can crew the Magda. I mean, crew the Chariot with the Magda on their end step and just make a bit of land there in case we top deck a Goldspan or something, which would be quite nice. Looks like he's going to target the Magda with something. Did he top deck another Epiphany there? Did not. Opponent. Deep in the think tank, Mr. Romay, Silent T. Am I playing a Frenchman with another Frenchman's deck? Taps 2 blue, 1 red, 1 black, 1 red. Woo! Lair. Lair, pants on fear. So he's got a power word kill. He's got the Fading Hopes. Boring. Deluge again. He's got the power word kill. Cinderclasm is probably what he's going to go for here. Why would you do that? Get rid of the Chariot? Sure. What? Okay. Cinderclasm. On all my tokens. Still not. Still got the mana to do it. He's just sequencing. Personally, I would have just gone straight up Cinderclasm. Just that's everything I have on the field gone in one fell swoop, which is just terrible. Still not. Okay. There it is. This is really tough matchup. I honestly don't know if his sideboard is going to be good enough to beat this nonsense. I think I'm going to side in the, go more creatures, bigger creatures, less Magdas and stuff, and ramp with the Kessig and bring in the 2 Disdainful Strokes and see if that gets me anywhere. Okay, he's going for the 3 Devils. Fuck that. It's not worth it. Oh. Can't counter my stuff either. I totally forgot about that. Spells can't be countered. So this Disdainful Stroke is now rendered useless by his presence of Lair on the board. Of course, of course. That's a little bit comforting, but he does have Burn Down the House ready there to re-zap my whole board. Although he will kill his guys too, so I doubt he's going to do that. More devils. Sure. Trying to get him to use the power word kill on Esika rather than on my Magda. I might just be able to sneak my way into 5 treasures and then summon up a Goldspan before it's too late. But I think he's just going to zap me with the... Ooh, he doesn't have the red source. Sorry, buddy. Let's block one of these guys. No. That'll kill my Magda. Come on, top deck. Oh! Disgusting. Just over and over again with this bullshit. Go for the Goldspan. Okay, now we've got some creature lands to block with. We've got a Goldspan. Sure. I'm okay with that. It's got haste. You don't get to scry either. You just get to attack, which is fine. Which is fine with me. Big old deluge. Flashing it back for 4 off of the Lair. Flaring nostrils of annoyance, or anything that has to do with Alrund's Epiphany. Although, at least the Grixis one is like something cool and new, and slightly unexpected. Another Fading Hope there. She'll probably just put straight onto the Goldspan. So we mustn't go to attack. We can double cast it within the same turn, and he can't counter it because he's got a Lair on the board. Nice. I'd rather it gets used in this way than in another. Let's see whether he goes face or gets rid of the cats. Okay, cool. Cool. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We only do 4, so we can't race him. But we can activate a Den of the Bugbear off of the Goldspan treasure. I'm going to give it a whirl. It's worth a try. Demon Bolt. They're ready for everything, this deck. There's one of everything. It's not always that you're going to draw it, as we all saw in the footage from when I tested this list. The day the thing was leaked. But yeah, I think I'm going to call that one again. Let's go into the sideboard and see what we can do. You know, if you don't get that one Demon Bolt. Okay, so honestly, I just want to give this a try. I don't know if it's the right idea. Let me know in the comments what you think about my sideboard strategy here with, you know, other people's decks, but I don't know about this Chariot. Bye-bye Chariot. Be one less Magda. Okay, so that gives us 2 Disdainful Strokes. I want to bring in the Kessigs. +22 lands, +4 Shatterskull Smashings. Let's give this a try. We brought in all the counter package and maybe a slightly speedier aggro package with the werewolves there. Let's see. I'll say it before and I'll say it again. They clearly know what the other people are bringing to the table. Clearly. So the cards in the sideboard are there for a reason. Fading Hope, man. Just the destroyer of aggro decks just can never get the tempo on them. And now it's already too late, probably. You know, they've got counter magic available. Try it again. Night time. Can you imagine having to deal with this like list on the tournament? It will just be so frustrating. And they have so many ways of reloading their hand. And then, when the time's right, everything that's in the graveyard they can just cast again with Lair. This is such a Gabriel Nassif list. I'm not a very good control mage, and I'm definitely more of your sort of mid-rangey type of a player. And I do quite enjoy some Okay. We're ready for spells to be flung our way. willy-nilly. Bye-bye. Off we go. Oh! Okay. He brought in the Mind Flayer. We brought in the Disdainful Stroke. And that was very, very nice. Felt fantastic. I'll leave it at that. Let's see if we can sneak a win off of this diamond rank guy, Mr. Ronay. Fellow net decker. You see, like when Wizards is going to be considering whether they need to ban Alrund's Epiphany or not in the the days following Worlds, it's not just sorry, just 1 second. So red, mono green, mulligan. Okay. What was I saying? I was making a point there. Oh yes. Not only are they going to be seeing, how much it was played and affected the big event, but also because we, the players, are all looking to those players in the top 16. It affects how we build our decks as well. A lot. Clearly. And so if the meta in the championship and then also for us, oh, there's going to be a nice negate. No. Just have to go and get the doorbell. 1 second. Wife back from can't cast that Goldspan. I have a feeling it's gonna be a problem if we do. Let's go to combat. It's worth a try. Disdainful Stroke. Don't wanna look. At least his power word kill is useless. And as far as I know, they're only running the Demon Bolt and one other card that can Bloodchief's Thirst in the entire deck that can actually deal with this. And they've only got one of each. So with some luck, Goldspan will stay on the field now. You've got to be shitting me. Unbelievable bullshit. Nice. Fuck my life. So well played. Nothing I could have done there. Where's my, you know, Dragon's Fire when I needed it, right? Counters the counter? No. Okay. Freaking Mind Player. Now, watching this, I can understand what the plan was. When I was playing the Grixis list, I was unsure when they would be siding in the Flayer. I guess now I can see it. Oh. Not loud. Alright, so that's game. Game 2 goes to the dude playing the Grixis list. So, my observations is that Jean-Emmanuel might be taking a bit of a risk here. He's going to be facing this deck for sure. And it feels like what they can sideboard in against the matchup feels better than what I can. The Burning Hands is completely useless in this matchup. There's only 2 mono green decks in the whole tournament, so these cards are just going to be pretty useless unless he's playing one of those 2. Tangletrap, totally useless in the Izzet turns, and you know, okay, you can get rid of the Ashmouth Dragon when it gets made from the egg, but not that many people are running the egg. And then the, you know, the counterspell package, not really doing much for me. To counter the spells that you know, they have their access to. They were just removing my stuff, and I didn't top deck a single one of my good removal spells either, except the Shatterskull Smashing, but Duress got it out of my hand. That was felt really bad there. That felt really, really bad. Now, what I'm hoping is to go up against like mono white or something like that next. Another Izzet deck would just really make it for a boring video, but you know, can't pick and choose who we queue up against. Mr. Nerby Beast. Nerby Beast? Nerb Beast? What's a Nerb? Snap keep. Okay. A little different. So it's looking like some sort of blood money shenanigans here. Maybe just mono black control. Personally, I think this matchup is pretty good. Play the Regent next turn. Thanks to some mana fixing of Jaspera. And we can swing in with the Chariot. They don't have any artifact removal in the deck whatsoever. Unless they've got... okay, there we go. So you can cast Containment Breach off of the freaking treasure, which is a sneaky little bit of tech, which I almost never get to go off myself, but the opponent seems to have managed it quite well right there. Cheeky bugger. But that's okay. Kind of used up his whole turn to do so, and that's not a bad thing at all. Again, feeling that lack of red sources that I was mentioning earlier. I'm interested to find out why it is that he has not put more red and so much green when his big hitters are mostly red cards. Interesting. Sorry, I got another. I doubt you're running 2 of those, baby. Blocking 3/3 clearly. We need to be very aware of Blood on the Snow now. It's a huge probability, unfortunately. 4/5. If he drops a land, it's probably looking like Blood on the Snow. Here it comes. Hold, brace yourselves. Disgusting. Disgusting card. Do you have another Blood on the Snow? That is the question. If he did, he would have done it already. Surely.
Arrivo. Quasi è finito. Devo finire la partita.
Non lo so. Magari
In meno di un quarto, 10 minuti, 12 minuti. Sì.
Scusami. Arrivo. Lunch is ready. I'm being a bit rude. Okay. Comes the block. You can only block one. Whew. Down to one. It's gonna target my Lair. This will be interesting to see if he's splashing one like blue land somewhere in here. No. Woo! Got him. We got him. We got him. We got him. We got him. Brrr. Game one goes to the dude with the me dude. So let's bring in Disdainful Stroke for sure. Okay. This can go for Planeswalkers as well. And it is our land source. So, maybe the Reckless is not that necessary, or I don't know. Maybe just down one class, down one. Just there we go. I mean, let's keep it very similar and just bring in Disdainful Stroke for the Blood on the Snow. Otherwise, I felt like that was pretty decent. No need to bring in Burning Hands. If we lose this one, then I'm going to try the Kessig Naturalist thing and go for the Werewolf pack. And now, I think I just really want to make sure we don't get Blood on the Snow on turn 6 or 5. And that should win us the game against this matchup. Nice. Okay. Shambler. Tapland. We'll bring in the Magda. He can deadly dispute the gas and get rid of the Magda. Unfortunately, that was probably a bit of a misplay, but I was desperate to get a treasure off of that Magda, and probably that cost me another game. But let's see. Okay, we get the blue source here. Not necessary yet. I think I picked a very good time to record. A lot of activity in the house. We live and learn. Opponents having a very good think here. There's gonna be a lolt in this deck somewhere. It's not very good. Twitchy boy. Followed by an environmental sciences. More than likely. Goes and grabs his one copy of Containment Breach. Takes out our Esika's Chariot. Same as last game. At least no Plum the Forbidden available. Here comes Blood on the Snow. Oh no. thought he wasn't going to go for it. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Okay, now we're ready for another one though, which is always a possibility. Sorry, no lol for you, bud. Terribly sorry, my dear fellow. But that lol is staying in the graveyard. Yeah, it's jolly good. Have fun, darling. Ready for your another blood on the snow that's likely coming my way. To try and get his Lolth back from the graveyard. Oops! Hopefully he doesn't have a third one, because that'll be devastating. It's got the blockers in the form of the Faceless Havens. $11, $12, $13, $14, $15. Has to block. He's probably going to just try and double block the Chariot or something, which is pretty cool. I would rather that happens than something else. No blood on the snow, please. No blood on the snow. Yes. Woo! Mono Black Control getting their asses handed to them. Alright guys, I did say that I would like to do 3 games per video in the best of 3 ladder, but I do need to rush off and have lunch. I'm terribly sorry. I'm being rude to my host and I need to go and dine. So I will just leave this video at 2 games, but we did get a fairly good feel for the Grixis turns matchup. It felt bad, honestly, and once again, I would like to see how Jean-Emmanuel navigates that matchup and what his sideboard options are other than just a couple copies of Disdainful Stroke that he's got in there. But that's going to be it for me, from me and the BrewLab for this afternoon. I'll be coming back at you later on tonight with another video. I will be doing mono white aggro, so tune in for that if you'd like to see how I navigate that deck. And until then, this is Lone Fox from the BrewLab, signing out. Peace, y'all.